Europe is no longer America's unconditional ally. The NATO 3.0 era has arrived. In 2026, the U.S.-European relationship is undergoing its biggest transformation since NATO was founded in 1949. Washington is reviewing the 80,000 to 100,000 American troops stationed across Europe. Troops, bases, aircraft, weapons, and missions are all under reconsideration. Europe is falling behind homeland defense, the Western Hemisphere, and the Indo-Pacific in America's military priorities. Donald Trump's position is simple. European security is Europe's responsibility. America may still provide nuclear deterrence and limited intelligence, but it no longer wants to carry most of Europe's conventional defense. That creates a dangerous question. Can Europe deter Russia without American satellites, refueling tankers, long-range missiles, and strategic logistics? From Washington's perspective, America protected Europe too well. The safer European governments felt, the less reason they had to rebuild their own militaries. For decades, Europe cut heavy units, sold tanks, reduced ammunition stockpiles, and redirected money into domestic programs. The result is a continent with enormous economic power but limited military readiness. European NATO members are far richer, more populous, and more industrialized than Russia. Europe should be able to build a military much stronger than Russia's. Putin should be the one losing sleep. Instead, Europe is panicking because America may leave. That contradiction explains NATO's crisis. American troop numbers will probably fall, so may the fighters, tankers, bombers, and air defense systems supporting Europe. That would leave gaps in precision strike, satellite reconnaissance, transport, refueling, and missile defense. Europe still operates advanced fighters such as the Typhoon, Rafale, and F-35. But fighters alone do not win modern wars. Without intelligence, communications, tankers, and long-range weapons, their combat power falls sharply. This is the principle of NATO 3.0. America moves into the background. Europe moves to the front. To understand the change, look at NATO's three eras. NATO 1.0 lasted from 1949 to 1991. America provided nuclear protection and stationed hundreds of thousands of troops in Western Europe to contain the Soviet Union. European countries also maintained large armies, tanks, ammunition reserves, and military infrastructure. Then the Soviet Union collapsed. NATO entered its 2.0 phase. From 1991 to 2024, Europe collected the peace dividend. Heavy units were cut, tanks were sold, ammunition declined, infrastructure deteriorated. Europe increasingly relied on the United States for intelligence, logistics, air power, and strategic protection. The Kosovo War exposed that dependence. European forces participated but still needed American weapons, bombing power, and logistics. Calls for strategic autonomy followed, but Europe's many governments and competing interests slowed reform. Trump attacked European free riding and demanded higher defense spending, but his first term produced limited structural change. Russia's invasion of Ukraine temporarily reunited NATO. America sent more forces. Europe increased military spending. Both sides supported Ukraine. But Europe remained dependent on the United States. When Trump returned, Washington's frustration returned with greater force. That opened NATO 3.0. The alliance still exists, but the division of labor changes. Europe must provide the soldiers, tanks, artillery, drones, and missiles needed to defend its territory. America will focus on the homeland, the Western Hemisphere, and the Indo-Pacific. Washington calculates that Russia remains a dangerous nuclear power, but its conventional military has been weakened in Ukraine. Europe possesses far greater economic, technological, and demographic power. If Europe converts that power into military strength, America can move forces elsewhere. Washington's complaint is blunt. Europe has the wealth to defend itself, yet still relies on American protection while pursuing its own strategic interests. Europe is now rebuilding across four areas: spending, industry, long-range strike, and nuclear deterrence. Defense budgets are rising. Governments are ordering ammunition, air defenses, aircraft, missiles, and drones. But money alone cannot solve the problem. Europe's defense industry is fragmented. Countries protect national companies and buy different weapons with different standards, making production slower and more expensive. The European Union is trying to coordinate procurement and larger multinational orders. Ukraine is entering Europe's defense supply chain, bringing battlefield experience, drone technology, and wartime production methods. Europe is also developing long-range missiles and expanding air defense. Because it cannot quickly recruit enough soldiers, Europe will try to compensate with drones and technology. Railways, roads, bridges, and fuel sites must also be rebuilt so European forces can move without American logistics. If confidence in America's nuclear umbrella weakens, Europe will depend more heavily on Britain and France. But none of this can happen quickly. Europe has the money, population, and industry to become stronger than Russia. It cannot reverse 30 years of demilitarization overnight. Factories take time to expand, missiles take time to develop, soldiers take time to recruit and train. Europe also lacks America's full satellite, surveillance, and targeting network. Without accurate intelligence, even advanced weapons become less effective. Higher defense spending will also pressure healthcare, education, pensions, and welfare. Voters may support stronger defense while rejecting the taxes and cuts required to pay for it. NATO 3.0 is therefore both a transformation and a gamble. America is reducing its role in Europe. Europe is rebuilding its forces, industries, weapons, and nuclear coordination. But a dangerous gap remains between American withdrawal and Europe's ability to replace it. Europe may eventually become strong enough to defend itself. The real question is whether it can rebuild fast enough. For the next several years, Europe may be at its weakest while Russia remains organized around a wartime economy. That is the central risk of NATO 3.0. America is stepping back. Europe is stepping forward. But no one knows whether Europe will be ready when the protection it depended on is finally gone.